Hi,
Hey, hey, hey.
what's up, Darrell?
Not much, man. Just living the day.
Did
How you been?
you watch the World Cup yesterday?
I did not. I only know who won. Who won?
Spain.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
really it was crazy because it was 0-0, but Spain, they had 20 shots on goal and Argentina had
Mhm.
like, I don't know, one or two maybe. And it could have gone, it was almost going to go to penalties. And then Argentina probably would have an edge because they're really good at it. But then
Oh yeah.
Spain scored in extra time, in the second extra time, a couple minutes before it would have gone to penalties. Actually, I guess they scored two, I think. And then they scored two like that, and then it was over.
Yeah, they look like they did their homework. Like, they would be the one to capitalize off of those type situations. And yeah, they did their homework.
My This thing went viral, but it was the Spanish and Argentinian fans, or sorry, players like fighting really bad after the game, like punches. And then
Oh,
it pans to the 19-year-old star, Lamine Yamal, and
yeah.
he's praying like in deep prayer. It's so crazy.
Mm, mm, yeah.
Isn't it
That's
crazy that
nuts,
he's the
man.
young one too? He's the young guy.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the older
Yeah.
Usually the older guys calm down the young guys. That's how it's supposed to
Yeah.
work.
Well, I guess you could say that he was raised right, but
I
these
know.
days, man.
He's got a tight family. My friend actually he's my friend's in the card, so he flew all the way to Chattanooga, Tennessee from here, tracks
Mhm.
him down at his hotel, like kind of stalks him, and then he knew exactly what to say to him in Spanish. He did his research and knew all
Ooh,
about his neighborhood pride and all this. And so he ended up getting like 20 autographs. But anyway, the whole
wow.
the whole family was there, like the mom and dad and the little brother, and like he says he's the nicest guy. I hope he stays that way. Sometimes
Hmm.
being harassed for too much will eventually make you like kind of
It
cold.
sure will.
It can, right?
Hmm. Yep. All
Mhm.
that traumatic experience and stuff like that too. So
Yeah, you never
it makes a
know how
big
many
difference.
threats people
Yeah.
get or what's happening. You're right. Yeah.
Hmm. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. How you been, man? You been doing all right?
Yeah, my family's been out of town. I'm excited for them to come back t tomorrow. They've been
Sweet.
gone for like at least a month visiting in-laws, and
Oh,
I usually go with them, but this summer I stayed to take care of the pets
okay.
in the house.
Cool.
And
Cool.
Saturday was the real walk with the mental health group where I put my hat on and the we post pics and everybody around the world that's in the group, an ambassador,
Hmm.
posts and
Hmm.
shares their pictures on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
You ever seen that or no?
No.
Oh, you ought to
No.
check out it's called the Real Mental Health Foundation, but it's quickly grown maybe in like 3 years to almost 1,000 global ambassadors. So if I'm traveling in New York or San Francisco or Switzerland or wherever, New Zealand,
Yeah.
you can meet up with people in this mental health global association. And
Wow.
we all recognize each other because we wear this hat that says the real on it. And recently, once in a while, you're supposed to like tip your cap to the other person.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
actually
Wow.
happened to me at a show. So it's at a big boat show down here. So it's starting to like catch on and some people know what it is.
Hey, that's good though.
They want to
Let's
be,
get back in the position.
it's like a nonprofit that will also it's also a clothing brand. So they're going to continue to grow as clothing and
Oh, no
want
doubt.
to be like the Nike of mental health or whatever. It's still early, but that's the goal. And the guy who founded it, he flies to Switzerland to that big conference, Davos, this big financial
Yeah.
conference. So this guy, his idea, which is good, he's from banking. So he gets the CEOs and all the people with the money all around the world, like the richest people, in the room with the people like us that are passionate about mental health, or maybe we have an app or something, or maybe we have something we want funded to help. And then he doesn't like have an organized process. It's just natural that if you're in the room talking about mental health and some people have money and some people have ideas, stuff starts to happen, and that's what's happening.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
like a lot of
that's
these people.
good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them for goodwill, but also for business, they want to help fund these mental health apps and things like this.
And yeah, that's good because I've been seeing like basic mental health groups. It's just like people that are just, you know, um, expressing what's on their minds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those are
Mhm.
that's the types that I see. But other
Yeah.
than that, yeah, this is
Where are you
that's good.
based?
I've never heard that. What's that?
Where are you based?
I am based in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh wow. I wonder if they probably have somebody there, but
I'm
the thing
pretty
is
sure they do.
you can have more than one ambassador per city. I mean,
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
there may be multiple.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't seen any, but I sure will I sure will actually dig deeper into that. I didn't even think about that.
Indianapolis has the baseball team now. The what are they called? The Clowns? Have you heard about this?
I think so. Yeah, I did. I heard about that.
Well, yeah, it's an homage to the old team that was sort of like the Harlem Globetrotters
Yeah.
of baseball, like 100 years.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
the Savannah Bananas are bringing.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, they good too. I like them. I like
Yeah,
that.
so I guess the Bananas they have their own league now. So yesterday
Yeah.
I saw on TV they had the Clowns were playing the Party Animals. So now they have
Yeah.
it's kind of cool because the league is going to grow and you know there's games now where you don't even have the
Yes.
banana, but that's when it starts to grow like the ABA or whatever.
Yep. That's exactly what it's gonna be. I already saw that coming. It's going yeah, they gonna grow, man. They are going to grow for sure. They are.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you like, you don't even know, but yeah, I'm recording already. I already started recording before I got on. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
Makes it more
So yeah.
natural.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. That's the whole purpose, just to kind of, you know, keep it, fresh based and, just open. So yeah, that's the whole purpose of it. So yeah, let's go ahead and knock this baby on now. I normally do. First thing I do is have you take the floor. You introduce yourself and what you do.
Yeah. I'm Justin Cram, so I live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This is my hometown. Most of my career was in San Francisco because that's where I got hired out of school
Oh,
and worked there 10 years, met my wife, had my two boys, sons out there. And then I felt like goldfish trapped in a in a cage. What's the word for fish?
yeah.
What do you call the thing fish are in? An aquarium?
Something like that. Yeah,
But you know,
absolutely.
I knew my kids were going to get super big, super fast, and we're in this little rent-controlled apartment, and we tried to move, but they wouldn't because we're both freelancers, my wife and I at the time. So
Ah,
we moved back to Fort Lauderdale kind of as an experiment. This is 4 years before COVID. So
sure.
remote work wasn't common in advertising at all.
Mm-mm. Nope.
And
Sure
so
wasn't.
we tried it out, and I spent 2 weeks out of every month flying to San Francisco with two young kids. And
Damn.
I made it work, but I missed a lot.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Um, and then COVID hit. Oh, strangely enough, I got a full-time remote job right before COVID, which is crazy because there was hardly any of those jobs. And it was only because this agency had worked with me for like 4 years, and so they trusted me, whatever. So then COVID hit, and then, I started where I was working for somebody else, fortunately, had a full-time job and benefits. But then a couple years ago, I burned out, speaking of mental health. So I actually,
Correct.
and the crazy thing is, it it wasn't because of the hours and the weekends or nights. And like I've had burnout from overwork 10
Yeah.
years ago. this is weird because I had a good job, I had a good salary, but I was lacking in pur alignment with purpose and a lack of control over my job too. Like I had a great salary and I was a creative director, but I didn't have any influence. So
Sure.
it's super stressful to not be in control, especially for a long period of time. Especially when you're trying to improve a system and you're seeing other people kind of get knocked down and burned out. So I've basically flamed out. And here's the funny thing. I ended up working for a mental health app. Which was a great opportunity, and I wasn't paid
Oh,
as
heck
much,
yeah.
but I was working for this app still around called Mental. It's for men, designed for men with mental health challenges. And
Okay.
I would write this 2 to 3 minute podcast called The Daily Deuce every day because it's designed for you to listen to it while you're dropping your morning deuce. So it's short
Absolutely.
and comedic, and it's comedy based with storytelling. And we would have a stand-up comic sometimes perform with a Master Chief Navy SEAL trainer. So it was a
Oh, wow.
combination of comedy and like hardcore David Goggins type physical. And so it's something for everybody. Some people want both, or some people lean more towards one or the other, or sometimes you're in a
Hmm.
mood for one or the other. So we had it all.
Sure.
And so I really loved that. And then I guess we created so many, we just had enough in the bank. Like we had hundreds of these things. And so I moved on and was freelancing. And I over the next couple of years, I saw AI starting to um to eat our jobs. And I kind of had
Yeah.
this is happening to a lot of people, but I had an
Yeah.
existential moment of like, what am I here for? What do I stand for? If I had been working on ads, by the way, for AI long before ChatGPT came out,
Hmm.
for Intel and Nvidia and Microsoft, and we all used to laugh that we're creating ads to replace ourselves, but there's actually a little bit of truth in there, which a lot of comedy has. And so I ended up, I was freelancing. I had a good gig, like indefinitely and paid well. And then I was on like the first day of a 3 week vacation. And I had like a deep, dark, depressive feeling that came upon me all at once. I even
Yeah.
call it like the valley of the shadow of death from the Bible because by
Yeah.
the way, I was in a valley in the Poconos and visiting family like the day before this vacation. I just felt this like darkness descend on me. And I've only felt it once before, like when I burned out maybe 12 years ago. But this felt even more intense, especially since it was a return of something I thought I wasn't going to deal with again. So the next, this is crazy because we took off for Portugal and like this should have been a great family vacation. We love it. I mean, we've been there before. I have family that lives there, and it became really a grind for me because I was trying to make it day to day. I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia. I was having all this mental health breakdown, basically of anxiety, depression, like waves of panic attacks. And it's crazy because you can't, it's like kind of it's a great place for a vacation, but the worst place to get help because how you gonna get a therapist or medication when you're overseas dealing with another language and they have different laws and rules and medications available. And I mean, I was struggling to make it. And then when I came back to the United States, I ended up in inpatient uh, mental health hospitals for off and on, by the way, for 3 months. And
Mm.
long story short, very long, 3 month story. I had every medical treatment. I got spiritual. I mean, in the hospital, we had church services,
Yeah.
and there was like experimental medical procedures, and there was exercise. There's everything. And so for me, mental health recovery is a combination of a bunch of things, not like one bullet. And being open-minded, right? And helping, making friends and helping them carry us through and being open to a stranger sometimes drops a little bit of advice that really can help change your life. And that happened to me. And I mean, little by little by little, I worked myself up to be stable. And then eventually, like happens, I'm definitely better, stronger, mentally sharper, spiritually now than of course before. Because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger physically, but it's also
Absolutely.
spiritually, mentally. I thought my brain shut down. I mean, this happens, right? When some people like
Oh
me,
yeah.
we're like, my
Yeah.
brain's not going to work anymore. It's fried. I burned it out. I didn't treat it right. I didn't exercise enough or all these things. No, it's like the brain reboots. The brain doesn't get fried. I mean, you can reboot it and then it's better. It's like you gotta upgrade. You got to OS upgrade from the man upstairs, you know?
Yeah. No doubt.
And
Yeah.
there's so many comedians and writers and artists and scientists and all these people that have been through these, dark struggles. It's just it's
Yeah.
difficult. It's different for everybody, but then there's some similarities too, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So here I am, and I'm open about it with friends and family. My kids are old enough that they had to know where I went, so I didn't lie to them or anything, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, they was gonna have to learn about it sooner or later, rather it's from
Yeah.
you or somebody else.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, that's a big thing. It's a big thing. So you talked about the burnout. You was, in and out on it. What made you realize, like, what did burnout actually make you feel, when you realized that something had to change?
For me, the first sign was sleeping troubles.
Yeah.
Um, some people they actually sleep more when they're depressed,
Yes.
but everybody's different, right? And me, I can't
Hmm.
sleep at all. Like, I mean, I'm talking
Mm,
about when I say this, I'm talking about maybe an hour or two of sleep a night and not very good sleep.
man.
And it's very hard on my wife, right? Because I mean, I'd have to leave the room because you can tell when somebody's tossing and turning literally for 8 hours, 7 hours, whatever. It was that
Yeah.
bad, and it sucks because the more tired you are, the more mentally unstable you get, and then you're
Drained.
caught in this loop, yeah, and you're drained. And by the way,
Hmm.
if you have a good day and maybe you're in a good mood and you go out and you do a lot of things, the thing that sucks is you got to be careful because you might get wiped out and then end up where you were.
Hello.
And then you're in this wild cycle. And then you're like, I feel better, I'm great. And everybody's so hopeful and you're hopeful. And then the next day you crash. And then other people around you are bummed and with good reason. But then the next time you feel good, like you kind of people don't believe you. I mean,
Right. They think you're crazy.
yes, yes. My friend's grandfather, who passed away a couple years ago, but he used to always drop
Hmm.
his wisdom and he used to call me J Daddy. And he'd say, J Daddy, everybody's crazy. Some people just fake it more than others.
There you go.
I also
That's
think
right.
some people deal with low level depression and they don't even know it. And it doesn't
Hmm.
come to like a climax, but it's just like kind of like a subtle sadness. And then other people are like in really good mood and energetic. And then every few years, maybe they hit a wall. But then there's different diagnoses. Everybody's different. Some people are manic depressive, and
Hmm.
um, I never had that, but I've been around so many other people and become friends with them in the hospital that I know a little bit about a lot of different conditions, and the names are confusing, and sometimes they borderline personality disorder. It's like they gave it a bad name. They really should rename these things.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And then there's so much overlap, and it's tough because you want to know about your condition, but maybe not identify with it or try to collect like as many as you can. You don't get like brownie points or like a Boy Scout badge,
Right.
having as many as possible.
Right. Right. So I already know that this would be like a yes answer. So I'm just gonna blast through it and I'm just gonna
Yeah.
ask you, what were the signs that you missed when burnt out?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I remember being on these calls at work, and
Hmm.
we're just talking about like having a mild debate about something work related about advertising, which I work in. And I
Sure.
remember just sitting there thinking to myself, like, is this what we're doing with our lives? Like, really? This is worth it? And sometimes, by the way, it's good to like take a step back about the meaning of life and what are we doing here. But when it becomes an everyday thing and
Hmm.
it makes it hard to even focus because you're like, this is all pointless. This is all worthless. Then that's a sign I missed. Because when I was questioning like the purpose of my life in the universe while just trying to get through a a day-to-day call. And I if I had to go back, I would have thought like I need to do some soul searching here or talk to somebody about that.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy because it can catch you off guard. It caught me off guard, even though I'd been through it before. But sometimes it comes back and it's not exactly the same.
Hmm.
It wasn't exactly the same. The first time it ever happened to me was when my wife was about to give birth to our first kid, and
Yeah.
I was in this job where it was nights and weekends, and I took a honeymoon, a baby moon that she planned because I was just so focused on work, and then I got called back to the office on a holiday weekend, and like I just became more and more like bitter, and instead of lashing out in anger, the anger went inside. I didn't know that at the time, but that's what happens. Like if you're not expressing it in maybe a healthy way, like maybe sports or something, or talking it
Sure.
through, if you're not processing it in some way, it goes inside. So every time you want to tell your boss off about ruining your weekend with your pregnant wife and jeopardizing your relationship, every time you want to tell them off, but you don't, you're swallowing it inside, and then it's not good.
Yeah.
So yes, but the one thing I would say is like for me, the first time too, it was like lack of sleep, and then stress, wanting to be. This is a problem, but when I'm at work, I want to be at home or not working. But then on the weekend, I can't relax, and I want to get back to work.
Yeah.
This is common. I've realized with some people in burnout situations because you can't unwind. You get a point where you can't unwind. And to manage it, you just work more. And yeah, I mean, I try to stay aware of the signs more now.
Oh, no doubt.
And I also, it was kind of a freaky, unfortunate thing. But the first time I went through burnout, I had a therapist and a
Hmm.
psychiatrist. So I was on meds and therapy. And I didn't know at the time that this is super unusual, but within 2 years that the psychiatrist weaned me off of meds 100%. I never asked her to. She just that this was her plan. So I was on zero meds. And then the therapist said, it was the first therapist I ever had. So I didn't know how things work. He's like, yeah, I don't see people ongoing for years and years. I just do 15 and then it's over. So in other words,
Oh.
I was left without therapy and medication for 10 years. And it wasn't my choice, and I didn't give it up, or this was by the advice of two professionals. And then now
Mm.
some doctors have told me that that's malpractice and they have no idea what these people are thinking.
Absolutely.
And both of them, by the way, like have great credentials, super well trained. Honestly, the therapist is awesome. It's just crazy that I got cut off like that and not handed to somebody else. So that was kind of freaky. And
Mm.
that was really, I mean, I would have been doing therapy for the next 10 years. Like that's one good thing. Like for me, there's a lot of things that make me that make me prone to these conditions. But one thing is I do listen to advice and I don't go rogue and I don't go off my meds if without an advisor. So yeah, that's the other thing. Is like now that I'm not the kind of person I know real well now that if I'm in a good place, I want to stay that way. So I keep doing the work.
Absolutely.
It's not like I just,
Hmm.
oh, I'm good now. I'm all healed. I don't need any of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And good habits, like good lifestyle things that don't even have to do with meds and therapy,
Mm-mm.
like just reading or relaxing or not getting straight to work, unwinding or putting the phone down and go for a walk once in a while with the dog without talking the whole time or something. You know what I mean?
Hmm. No, yeah, for sure. So we'll ask this because I think so many people actually do like mistake this. Why do people mistake burnout for hard work?
Well, people mistake burnout for hard work in the United States a lot because of I honestly think it's because of our Puritan background, kind of
Yep.
the people who founded this country, relaxing or even enjoying your food can be like considered a sin by not by all Christians, but by the
Yeah.
particular people that founded our country.
Oh, for sure.
And it's amazing, but hundreds of years later, we still carry that with us, that we kind of feel guilty that we're not working. And um, physical labor is different than, obviously very different than work on your laptop. Because physical labor, when you have a job, it's a lot of work, but when the job's done, and you get this sense of fulfillment, and then you worked hard physically. I mean, this is in the Bible too, but you work hard, you sleep well. Then you wake up the next morning, you do it again, and then you get a day off. By the way,
Hmm.
like there's no guilt not working on Sunday historically. Although
Right.
now everything's open, so different story. But
Hmm.
and then people it's really the culture of the businesses. Like if the boss is working every night and weekend, you're going to be working every night and
Doing
weekend.
the same thing.
I even thought about this because I was watching The Chosen, the story about Jesus, and it's in the Bible, but Jesus would oftentimes go away to pray alone when he could have been working, like
Yeah.
healing people or preaching, and he would
Hmm.
take time to himself. And I thought about it. I thought, well, there's two reasons for that. One is he probably needed to stay grounded and connected with God. But the second reason, maybe even more important, is he's a teacher, he's a rabbi, he's a teacher.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's no better way to teach than your actions, not just your words. So you can tell people, obey the Sabbath or take time to pray and stay in connection privately with God, but to actually do it like he did, it says more than the words, of course.
Right.
So I think things are changing. This is good news, but I think things are changing where there's been a little bit of backlash against the hustle culture. And in fact, everybody's different, right? Some people get up at 5:30 or 4 or 5, whatever, and they make it work and it feels very natural. But I read
Hmm.
that I think it's Mark Zuckerberg gets up at like 9 to work.
I
So
think so.
so everybody's different, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
he likely, I have friends that get up late to work, but they'll wake up in the middle of the night and work 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the night. Like whatever works for you, and then you're not burning out. That's the other thing. When I say whatever works for you, that's important. But sometimes
Hmm.
offices put us in, they don't say how work however you want. They're like, no, you got to do this and this and this and be in all these meetings, and there's Zoom fatigue. That was real. I've really burned out of too many meetings too. Oh my God.
No,
Uh,
yeah.
but like a lot of this is changing, and people aren't doing as many, they're not doing these long meetings where nothing gets decided as much. I mean, every place is different, but these things are really changing fast. And that's great. And there's way more awareness of mental health. And they talk about it. Some people knock the manosphere. I think everybody has a different idea of what even that is. But one thing about all these, Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn and all of
Hmm.
these shows that sometimes are controversial. One thing, though, that shouldn't be controversial is they're super open about mental health all the time on their shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after 2 hours, they talk forever. So after 2 hours, you get there's only you can only wear a mask for so long, and
Oh
eventually
yeah.
you get into the real stuff and
Hmm.
the hard stuff and the stuff. Honestly, the stuff that we learn more from is struggles of other people and how they overcame it, and not you don't want to hear a highlight reel that's or just like the greatest hits of your life because we don't really learn or connect based on just hearing the best stuff somebody's done. We want to hear the worst you've been and how you got over it.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did become a father redefine success for you? How did that all work?
Yeah, the when my wife was pregnant, I realized the priorities had to change.
Hmm.
But the thing is that, and they do, like your whole my life changed, my priorities changed. And now I realize the stress that I bring home from work will be impact my wife and my child. But
Hmm.
also, of course, the stress in some ways of like your child's health is a new level of anxiety if you don't manage it that you've never faced in your whole life. Like,
For sure. For sure.
they do all these genetic tests now, and sometimes they think they find an abnormality, and then we'd go every week to get checked, and like I was freaking out.
Hmm.
Sometimes we know a little bit too much, or we're wrong. We think we know a lot, and like the test is wrong. So anyway, I realized everything had to change. Now, one thing I would say to other parents, but especially dads, new dads, that I realized is
Yeah.
you just take it one day at a time because my mind was I didn't know the term at the time, but I was future tripping. And I was literally thinking about when my kid's 5 or 8 or 10. In fact, the whole child-proofing your house, the kid can't even crawl around at first. So a lot of
Hmm.
people like project all this anxiety, like get your sleep now, get your sleep now. Honestly, like so many people told me that I couldn't sleep before my child was born because so many people were freaking me out about that. And
No, no doubt.
I was absorbing all this anxiety. And here's the irony. My kid slept really well. This is the thing. Like, not every kid has colic. Like, I'm
Yeah.
blessed and thankful. And by the way, some kids have colic and that's like really brutal, but then maybe they're really easy at 3 years old. Other
Hmm.
other babies are like give you no trouble, sleep well, and then they're like three, they're a handful. So
No
we,
doubt.
it's important not to compare ourselves. You may have a kid who's like a handful until they're 18, and then all this maybe give it time, and then in their 20s they get their shit together and they're taking care of you, like the prodigal son, actually, and it reminds me of. But
Absolutely.
um, yeah, don't comparisons to other people is not good. Not good at all.
Never.
Like
I
what
agree. Never.
there is no normal, nobody's got it all figured out. Take it one
Hmm.
day at a time. Fatherhood, work, whatever, AI. Everyone's freaking out about AI. It's like every day is different.
No doubt.
There's
No
enough
doubt.
people, the Bible says get our daily bread. It doesn't say give me a storeroom. So I know that if things go south, I'm gonna have 2 years of it doesn't promise that. We're just And that's been revolutionary. I mean, the not think I don't even think about tomorrow, which I think it took me many years to figure this out or do make a
Hmm.
habit of this. And it helps to have your family on board because if you're trying to take it one day at a time and then a family member, a good friend is like panicking about something that's 3 years from now, you gotta kind of not absorb other people's anxiety and stress and
Yeah. 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 That's absolutely right. I'll say this. I have a 5-year-old,
hmm
right? 5-year-old daughter. And to your point that she's a handful. Ain't no
hmm
doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it. And she was born during COVID, which was 2021.
hmm
And she, a lot of things was, restricted back then because of it. But watching her, grow up the way that she is now has been a real blessing. This has been a blessing because, you know, as myself, being able to, learn, grow, and things like that as a kid. And watching her do that is beyond a blessing. It's like, for me, a miracle because of how I could just watch her learn and do
Hmm.
everything like that. So I say that because at the time before she was born, I had just gotten a job, a full-time job working at a furniture store. And it was in December of 2020 when I, got hired on. And she was born in January of 2021. And went through that stage. And luckily enough that, my leadership team was my bosses and stuff like that was, supportive of me during that time because I wanted to be there for my daughter's birth and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so after she was born, that's when things started to change, right? A lot of
Hmm.
things started to change. I kind of fell into that trap where you were.
Hmm.
I spent so much time working. I literally worked from before the sun came up and when the sun went down.
Wow.
Now, yes, and the way that the business worked was that um it was called weekends only. So the whole gist of it was weekends only. So we were open to the public Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And then not to mention the holidays, but Mondays and Tuesdays will be the off days. And then
Hmm.
Wednesdays and Thursdays we'll go in and we'll just, prep the store, get the customers' orders ready and stuff like that, make sure that everything is, you know, right. So when they come to get the stuff, it'd be good to go, stuff like that.
Hmm.
So during that time, that's when everything had changed. That's when burnout hit me
Hmm.
severely
Hmm.
because they had just literally cleaned house. Literally, they fired every single person except maybe I want to say two others, but they was part-time. I was
Hmm.
the only full-time person there. And I had gotten to a point where I burned myself out and I didn't even realize it. I didn't
Yeah.
realize I was getting myself burnt out because, I was just felt like, oh man, I'm getting all these hours. I'm working, I'm making this money and stuff like that. And then the good rewards started happening. I was getting promoted, I was getting raises and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And I felt like I felt like I was on top of the world, failing to realize that I was getting burnt out in the process.
Hmm.
I felt that. I had literally felt it, but didn't know what it was.
Hmm.
So that's when I think it was. I want to say it was maybe almost 6 months after my daughter was born. That's when I started to realize, okay, this is starting to become a problem.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I need to figure out, what's going on. Why am I feeling this way? And the funny thing is that we didn't have these meetings and things like that. It was just work in general that really burnt me
Right.
out. Doing the same processes every
Hmm.
day, that about killed me. It literally killed me because I was the only one doing this. I
Hmm.
literally would go and put I reorganized the whole freaking warehouse in the back. I was the
Yeah.
only one. They printed out the inventory list and said, there you go. If you want to do it, go ahead. I was like, okay, cool. So I did it. It took me almost a year to get that whole back,
Right.
reorganized and stuff like that. And that was hard. And that's what and that's when I really had to dig into the deep root of what's going on with me. That's when I started to learn I was getting burnt out.
Mm. Mm.
That's when I started learning. And because on top of that, I was still, dealing with customers, getting their orders in, and I was driving the machine, the picks and stuff like that. And that's when I went up to one of my managers. I was like, okay, I'm getting to a point now where I am starting to feel burnt out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I really need to take some time off.
Mm-hmm.
And my manager looked at me and he said, you know what? I understand why you're feeling that way. I understand that you need this time because you have done so much around here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have literally done everything from top to bottom, left and right.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, just put in the time that you need. I'll take care of it.
Nice.
And yeah, absolutely. That was very nice.
That's
And
great.
yeah, so all I needed was a week. That was all I needed. Like, I don't care about nothing else. Like, just give me a week. That's all I need because it worked better in that favor because I could actually I automatically have Mondays and Tuesdays off. Everybody does. So that's
Mm-hmm.
automatic. I'm good with that. Then you have the Wednesdays, the Thursdays, and the Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. So I could
Yeah.
be able to take that time off and then those Mondays and Tuesdays are kind of like I called it like my extended time because I
Mm-hmm.
could come back on Wednesday. So basically I had like a week and 2 days, a little
Yeah.
over
Okay.
a week.
Yeah. Nice.
So that worked out for me better. And that's what I did. And after I came back from my little week vacation, because all I did was, you know, um, I actually just took the time to um you know, I ain't gonna say meditate, but
Mm-hmm.
I actually sat, listened to some music, watched a little TV and just kind of just relax my mind a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it all seemed to work well. And I thought it did when I went back. I came back, I felt, rejuvenated. I felt ready to go. One until a week later, I felt it again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what am I gonna do? So any man that don't know what the hell they doing, I just push through it.
Yes.
There
Right.
was nothing I could do. I just like,
Right.
okay, there's nothing I can really do. I'm just gonna push through it. And as we're all taught, you're gonna be suppressing the issue, and that's it. And
Mm-hmm.
then that's when I started getting into relationships issue that started affecting my work, and that really
Mm-hmm.
jacked things up for me. But then I caught this break. I was getting so frustrated with the job and stuff like that. And that's when uh I was actually taking this little small miniature vacation because I was doing a favor. I was watching my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is funny because I didn't think in a million years it was going to happen, but I'd already I saw the signs coming that something big was going to happen. So I was at home. I was with my daughter and I was playing with her and we were just doing some things. And then I happened to come into the bedroom and I was looking for something. And then my phone rings. My phone rings and I seen that it was my manager calling me. I was like, oh, please don't tell me he's gonna call me back up in here. This is the last thing I need. Like, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
do this. So when I answered it, he was like, hey Darrell, this is Jerry, man. We got some news. So I'm gonna, put Nate on the phone and, have him explain it. I was like, damn. Okay. All right. And so he gets on the phone and he's like, so we're gonna have to tell you that the company's about to be dissolved.
Oh man.
You don't know the relief I felt.
Oh wow, really? Oh
Yes, I really felt the relief. I was so
wow.
happy
Wow.
that day was dissolved because at that point I was getting ready to get promoted again. I was just getting ready to get promoted again. And
Yeah.
when he said that, I was relieved.
Wow.
I kid you not, because a lot of people, oh man, people were so upset. They was like, Oh, thanks a lot, asshole. You did this, you did this. Because apparently it was damn, what they call them people they steal from the company. I forgot what they call them. Uh
Embezzlement.
Embezzlement. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yep. Embezzlement. So apparently the new owner, the old one, the old owner had retired because he wanted to
Mm,
spend time with his grandchildren and stuff like that, his family. The new owner came in and started embezzling from the company. And everybody found that strange. Everybody found it strange. And that's when we knew, like, all the time changes and stuff that we was dealing with. I said, something's going on
mm,
because the time flexes was not the same. That's how
right.
I knew something was up.
Wow. Okay.
But people were so upset. They was mad. Thanks a lot, Lane. You did this. You did all. They was just
Wow. Okay.
laying it on. I was happy. I was like, I don't know
Wow.
what y'all complaining about. What y'all complaining about? Like, I
Yeah,
was
you gotta
just,
listen to your body. Your body probably felt like free too, right?
I almost did a backflip. Like,
Yeah.
literally, I almost did a backflip because because my daughter kind of looked at me and she was like, "What happened, Daddy? Why are you so happy?"
Oh wow.
And I
Yeah, kids
said,
know.
"Yeah." I told, I was like, "Well, I think I'm hitting a new phase and a new change, so I'm gonna have to, you know, make some changes about myself that I'm feeling
Yeah.
pretty good about." But yeah, my body was wholly relieved, man. It was 100%. Like that was the happiest I have ever felt
Hmm.
in a long time because of the stress, the pressure, and the burnout that I was dealing with. It was amazing. I felt so
Wow. When was
wonderful.
it? Was it
Um,
a couple years ago or recent?
what year is this? 2026. So it was about, it would be 4 years coming up in, I think,
Oh,
November. In November. It's coming up 4 years, but it's been 3 years. And the company officially shut down in 2023.
oh,
I want to say
okay.
June of 2023. You just don't know. I couldn't wait. I got
What
out
did
of
you do
this.
next?
What's that?
What did you do next? I mean, after that, did you
So
take some time
after
off?
that, I kind of went and did like I told my brother, I was like, I actually want to do something that, you know, I see a lot of people do. And I'm still doing it to this day. It's just
Right.
not a lot as I used to. And I told him, I was like, I want to actually, you know, um, do this YouTube thing, play the game and
Yeah.
put the videos out on YouTube. Been
Hmm.
willing to do that. I've always wanted to do that, but I never found the right opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
And that was a good opportunity to do it. And I worked, I mean, I literally worked at it day and night since June 20th of
Hmm.
2023. I literally, from June all the way up until now, I've been at it, working
Hmm.
at it, putting it in. And then after that, that's when the finances hit. So I was like, okay, so now I got to transition again. Now I got to find a job. And so October of 2024, I ended up getting hired at FedEx, and I'm
Okay.
still there now.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So that kind of put everything back, not
Hmm.
necessarily in the back burner, but in the back. So
Hmm.
where I work, I get up in the morning, I work at FedEx anywhere between maybe sometimes it's 3 o'clock, sometimes 4 o'clock. It just depends on the time and
Hmm.
frame and volume. So and then I'll get off anywhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. It just
Wow.
depends. Yeah. Mhm.
In the
And
morning or
then
night?
early mornings.
Oh, wow. So three
Early
or four in the morning
three
till
o'clock in the morning.
8 in the morning.
Yeah,
9.
absolutely.
Wow. That's
Yep. Yeah. And I'm
totally
part-time
ridiculous.
too. Like,
Yeah.
and that's where now, like, I'm burnt out.
Oh no.
Working
Oh
there
no.
and I'm burnt out now. So like I now see and now I have a better idea on how I can cope with things because
Yeah.
I've did with weekends only. I was able to, now I got the general idea of how I want to approach and go, when I'm burnt out. So
Hmm.
yeah, I've been through some rides, and I'm still doing this. I'm still doing podcasts. I'm still doing the gaming, and I'm still doing everything under the sun, But I'm just
You do gaming?
finding, yeah, on
Oh
YouTube.
wow,
Me
nice.
and my brother.
You
Mhm.
do it on Twitch too?
Nah, no, not yet. I'm trying, but
Which
right
game?
now we just
Check
putting
it
them.
out. Which game you play? Or
Um, so lately here, oh gosh, I've been switching on a lot of things. So lately here, I've been doing Grand Theft Auto. I've been
okay.
doing that lately. Now, normally I would do sports gaming. I'll do MLB The Show. I'll do
Mhm.
NBA 2K. I would do um I ain't done Madden in a while. Actually, my brother does that. Well, he did do it. He'll do Madden. And then I'll do some simulator games. I've done a truck simulator game. I've, you know, pretty much done them. And I haven't done anything else since. Now I've just been doing Grand Theft Auto, been going online and
They're
making
gonna come
fools
out
out
with
of
a
people.
new, is it a year or something? When's the new one
Oh
coming?
no, this been going on.
No, I
I've
mean
been doing this.
there's a new
What's
game,
that?
right? Isn't there a new GTA coming
GTA
out?
6? Yeah, that ain't coming out till November. All right, I'm pre-ordered and everything. So
Okay. Is it
it's
in what city is it? Miami again or no?
yeah. Yeah, they put it back in Miami. They sure did.
Um
So
I
it's gonna be bigger, a bigger map now. Yeah, it's gonna be everything. It's gonna be bigger than California.
Well,
So
the funny thing is in 2000, I was in school in 2004 and I was in Miami. I was down in Miami and one of my classmates was from Boston, so he didn't know Miami, but he played that
yeah,
game, Vice City. And so back that was before, everybody had maps on their phones. So
yeah.
he knew how to get around Miami from the map of GTA, which is funny because it was Vice City. It was like not exactly Miami, but basically Miami. But I'm
Hmm.
sure the new version is gonna, you can probably get around all of South Florida. Like,
Yeah, you can. That's exactly what's gonna happen. That's why
I
the
love
maps are
that
bigger.
game because people say it's violent. It's like, well, it's only violent if you want to be violent. I used to drive around
Yeah.
in Grant San Andreas, listen to music or fly a helicopter, and like I didn't.
Shoot, yeah.
It's it's whatever you want to be,
It's
whatever
yeah.
experience you want. That's why it's open world. You want to cause,
That's
it's like,
why.
if you want to cause trouble, you can get into trouble. If you want to listen to music and chill, you can do that. Like whatever you want.
Yeah. That's why I had to change it up a little bit because when I play online, I usually just go into like a lobby online, like by myself. Like
Mm,
you have to be invited. I have to invite you to,
yeah.
come online. That's what I do. And then I was like, dang, this shit is boring. I need to go into a public lobby to see who's gonna mess with me and pick on me and things like that. And lo and behold, like I don't know if this is such a good idea, but I still do it anyway. But yeah, it could get violent.
Yeah.
It could get crazy, man.
Well,
And I love it.
there's a lot of misconceptions about video games because a lot of people think that they're like solitary, but I know so many people have met so many great friends playing games. I was at this
Hmm.
wedding and there was like 10 guys from World of Tanks, and they were
Hmm.
all at the wedding in real life, but they all met playing the game virtually. So
Hmm.
nobody says that you can't like meet in real life with your gaming compadres
Yeah,
or vice
yeah,
versa.
that's
You can have a good, I have friends from like college that they haven't hung out in like 20 years, and then some game will come out and all of a sudden they're playing with their friends like from 20 years ago and they're talking on a
yeah,
regular basis and
yeah,
reconnecting. So a lot of people who would talk smack about whatever is because they never tried it themselves and they're just basing it on their stereotype of like, by the way, like 30 years ago, we didn't have internet games. So
no,
you were playing alone or with their friend, but a lot of times
yes,
alone, but we're all connected now. So if you, once again, if you want to be alone, you can be alone. But if you want to meet new people, you can. My kids talk with people like they can imitate an English accent because they talk with kids from England, and I hear them and they're never cussing or yelling, and you can get in trouble
right,
if you do that. So it's sort of like
hmm,
self-regulating too, because
yeah,
I hear what they're saying and I don't hear the kids like trolling each other from what I hear. I don't know. just they're
Yeah,
teasing each other, but
there's a
not
lot
like
of people.
not
Yeah,
bad, you know?
yeah. Some people will actually get themselves into deeper trouble with the
Yeah.
police when that
Oh wow.
happens. I forgot what they call it, but it's where they actually go and call the police, and they'll send the police to a certain
Oh,
individual's house.
swatting?
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they people do that. Yeah, I've heard of that. Then it started right with gaming, like trolling, but
yeah.
then some
Mhm.
people do it to politicians or famous people now and stuff.
Now they're doing it to them. Yeah.
That
So
sucks. Yeah.
that's probably one of the reasons why that people feel the way that they feel about playing the game. But most people don't understand when it come down to that, people I'll probably get a lot of heat from this, and I really don't care because it's how it is. But a lot of people feel like that you're not learning anything when you're playing these games, and you are.
Yeah.
You are. You may not be learning it in the way that people will want you to learn it, but you're
Mhm.
learning it. You're seeing what's happening in the real world in real time. And
Yeah.
that's what people don't understand. Like that those games has really improved my problem solving skills.
Hmm.
Like I can actually go and play GTA online and I can do certain missions and stuff like that, but it requires you to think. It requires you to think about a backup plan. It requires you to have so many of these traits that, a lot of people really wouldn't have if it was in a real world situation.
Yeah.
And, you'd be able to, get the mission done and be done with it. But that's why I'm a fan of playing these games. Like, not only am I just trying to bring some entertainment and fun into gaming, but to also say, hey, there's ways that you can work on being, smarter about situations. It ain't got to be in a bad way, but,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, if you know right from wrong, if you
Hmm.
know that this will get you into trouble, don't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But I could go into the game and play it and be violent and just get away with it because that's the only way I could do it. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and, you know, play the game and just be violent and then go out there and do the exact same things I just did in this game about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, and
that's the extreme example of that is Japan. I've heard the magazines and the stories and anime can sometimes be like crazy violent, but it's an
I
outlet.
heard.
They don't do it in real life. That's the
Yeah,
idea, right? Like you,
yeah.
it's like a horror movie. People like those, but it's not like you're gonna hopefully reenact it or something. It's so your mind can go to these places, explore it, and be like, maybe I would do that in real life. I already tried it on, because in real life you don't get any new lives, you know.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I'm gonna ask you this real quick. It's about your shit show creative thing. Um, what is it about shit show creative that, made you, create shit show creative? What was it that was like, okay, turning point? I know you said something, I think about LinkedIn, I think it was.
Mhm.
And you said something else. I couldn't remember what it was. I have a very
Oh, I
short-term
would say
memory.
I I posted this article on LinkedIn that said
Yeah,
embracing the chaos shit show creative launches, and it was a onion style parody article.
yeah,
And then people
yeah.
started, and then I went for a walk and I didn't really think about it. I wasn't
Mhm.
trying to fool anybody. It was an absurd, ridiculous article. And then within 45 minutes or an hour, it had 1,000 reactions and it quickly
Blew
exploded.
up.
All these people thought it
Mhm.
was real. And they're like, where's your website? I said, it's not a real agency. They're like, it is now. So you got to have a website. So I made a
Wow.
website, it had a merch shop. This Choose Vibes. This hat was
Mhm.
like one of the first things we made. We had a mascot called Carl the Manatee that came to me in a dream. I have him trademarked now. Somebody called me and they're like, do you have a Substack? I said, no, I don't know what that is. They said, don't worry, I'll make one for you. So a
Ooh.
lot of people were volunteering to help because they saw Shitshow Creative as a reaction against AI slop. And the funny thing
Hmm.
is, I did use AI sometimes, but it was
Sure.
always to amplify human creativity. And
Hmm.
actually, over time, I've used AI less and less because I've realized people like you things like you and me right now, just real people shooting the shit. And they
Yeah.
love it if it's loose and rough. And I used to spend more time editing my videos, and then I realized people don't want people like seeing mistakes and flubs and stuttering or whatever. Just not it saves you time and people like it more. I've heard that Gen Z calls it yapping, but they just pick up a phone and start talking, and it's like right off the top of their head, whatever the hell they want. And that
Right.
they're really into that. And it's probably the closest to it's an unfiltered thing, and shit show's all about being unfiltered. So here we are.
There you go.
And also, shit
There you
show
go.
also comes from the idea that I I I thought of it a long time ago because every agency or company I was at, every client I had, like big global companies,
Hmm.
all of them, I would at first I'd think they're pretty buttoned down, and after months and months,
Yeah.
I'd be like, this place is a shit show. And it was half bad, half, it wasn't all bad. It was half good. It was basically like,
Right.
God, if you lift up the if you look behind the curtain, everything's a mess. And then the mess is
Hmm.
what makes creativity. I heard jazz came from the Spanish American War, all these soldiers with all this money. They didn't have a lot of money, but they're single guys overseas. So they bought these instruments.
Yeah.
They brought it back to New Orleans, the port, and they didn't have room to take it all the back way back home on the train. So they unloaded their stuff for really cheap. And then all these guys in New Orleans bought up at very cheap, like all these nice instruments, and that's how jazz was born.
Oh, wow.
So, by the way, New
Wow.
Orleans is a shit show. I mean that as a good thing. All of
Oh,
the,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, you got French culture, you got the Spanish culture, Cuban culture. It's a port city. You
Hmm.
had the Irish moving in, and that caused like a big. Um, that's where the big riots were. That's why
Yeah.
the Italians, that Columbus Day comes from New Orleans because of they're beating up the Italians. I mean, it's a mess.
Mm.
But can we think of a city that produced more good music in America? It's kind of hard. I mean, it's one of the only cities in America where a musician doesn't have to leave to travel. You can actually stay there and people come to you, almost like you're doing a
Yeah.
residency. Kermit, what's his name? Kermit Ruffins. But
Hmm.
yeah, so also, by the way, the clients come to us when they're in a shit show, in a shitstorm, and
Hmm.
maybe
Yeah.
something went wrong, something got killed, legal killed whatever they had planned. They need somebody fast to figure it out, and that's when we
Yeah.
come at our best. So here we are.
Sure. Yeah. The humor in it, like, that's the craziest thing. It's the funniest thing ever. So, and- I mean, even though it's common sense and even though it's, hey, the title shares it all. But do you believe that laughter is part of healing?
Yeah, I think laughter is the start of healing because anytime you make somebody laugh, you're open their mind to new
Oh, no
ideas.
doubt. No
And
doubt.
sometimes a new idea, a new thought, something you don't want to hear about, you make them laugh
Hmm.
and it opens your brain to hearing it. And laughter helps heal because sometimes the message is you're going to get better. Like you are
Hmm.
okay. Um, like you're going to laugh at this 3 years from now. That
Hmm.
kind of thing. Like the
Yeah.
craziest, sometimes obviously the worst times of our life, sometimes give it a couple years and then it's something we joke about a lot.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that's at its base, but it also like it opens your breathing and you're
Yeah.
taking in oxygen and you're in a social environment and it's sparking your brain and that's why live comedy and live music are both like booming right now.
Yeah.
Because on
Yeah.
our phones, we don't have that same physicality, right, of being at a crowded stadium where all of us have the same passion. And people are like, you could
Hmm.
watch that comedian at home. But it's like, but you're not watching it with 100,000 people or 50 that love that same person. And everybody you turn to, you have something in common with. I mean, it's fun talking to people when you're getting a drink at a concert because they're into the same thing you're into, and not everybody is, you
Absolutely.
know?
Mhm. Yeah. And and I'll say this because it's like laughing can do all things. And I'm gonna say this because I haven't really touched up or talk about this or anything, but I put out an Instagram post too about it. It was very brief, but um this just shows how, laughter can heal everything. Um a little over 3 weeks ago, I had to put my dog down.
Hmm.
And that was the most disappointing, like saddest thing I've ever had to deal with, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, long story short, my brother, the other man to death, he can be so witty and so humorous
Yeah.
when it comes down to it because he lost his dog about 3.5 years earlier in
Okay.
2022.
Hmm. Hmm.
So he had lost this dog then. So this is how you know, like, people can feel what you're feeling. They can relate to what you're feeling.
Hmm.
So I was in a group text with my brother and my sister, and I was giving them updates about what was going on with my dog. So when the word finally came out, I sent the text and I told him, I was like, yeah. So Lucius is gone. That was my dog's name. His name was Lucius.
Hmm.
And my brother, I was already crying when I was texting it. I was crying already. I was like, I was devastated. So my brother, being a very, very witty type guy, humorous guy, he goes in the text and says, man, I know Pongo is about to bitch slap this fool and say, the fuck took you so long?
Oh, the Pongo is his dog?
Yeah, that was his part. That was his name.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Oh my
He's
God.
like, the fuck took you so long? I'm like, you know how long I've been sitting here waiting on you? Like,
Oh my God. They were friends? That's
oh,
great.
they were brothers.
Oh,
They was brothers.
brothers. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
they was brothers. Yeah. They all came I think
Same
like
breed? What
six.
kind were they?
Um, well, there was a mixed breed.
Hmm.
Um, I think, oh gosh, I think they were both mixed with Labrador and German Shepherd, but
Oh,
I
okay.
think my brother's dog was more of a lab. I don't think he had no mix in him, but I think he did anyway, legally,
Yeah,
so to speak.
sometimes one sibling will show one breed and then another one has shows the other breed.
My show freaking German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Lucius
His
showed German
head
Shepherd all the way.
characteristic.
So yeah, that was just the witty and the humor from it. But I had to laugh at it because, there's just some things that you can understand and
Yeah.
feel it on. Because I was just crying and crying and crying, and he came out with that. I was like, yeah, you know how to put the exclamation marks in some things. That was awfully witty, man. I liked
You-
it though. Like
Have you
that's
ever
what he
heard that
needed.
Mel Blanc, the guy who created Looney Tunes, his tombstone says, "That's all, folks."
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't know that though, but
And
good
have you ever
God.
heard of Liam Neeson? So Liam, what's his name? The guy from Naked Gun.
Yeah, I heard of him. I've heard of him.
Liam, I don't know why I'm
I
blank.
think it's
Liam Neeson, I guess. No,
yeah.
no, it's because the other
I
guy.
thought it was no,
He was
I thought it
in,
was Liam Neeson.
well,
It
Liam
ain't him?
Neeson was in the new, that's why it's confusing. He was in the new
Oh,
Naked
okay.
Gun. Um, so the guy who played um Frank Drebin in the original Naked Gun was Leslie Nielsen. That's why it's confusing.
Leslie.
Leslie Nielsen was I never thought about that. Leslie Nielsen was the
Yeah.
original Naked Gun, and Liam Neeson was the new one. So Leslie Nielsen,
Okay.
the original guy, he lived in Fort Lauderdale a long time. In fact, I saw
Yeah.
him when he was old and very sick, and he was eating at this restaurant. And I wanted to talk to him, but I felt so bad because I didn't want to bother him because he was, sick. I think
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
retrospect, maybe it would have made him feel better. So I don't know. But
Never know.
he he had a thing his whole life where he would have this like machine in his pocket where he would press it and it would make a fart sound. and he would use it on, you can watch on YouTube. He would do it on, Johnny Carson and all these famous shows, and he would just do it to get the reaction of the person interviewing him when they're in this serious conversation. He would never laugh. And so get this. So a friend of our family's was friends with him, Leslie Nielsen. And the Leslie Nielsen said before he died, he said, "Look, I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to have and at the funeral home, it's going to be open casket, and then I want you to hold this and press the fart noise when people are walking by the casket." And he did. So that was one of his
Wow.
wishes, that his friends could continue that joke.
Wow.
And
That kind of
he's got a funny thing on his tombstone too.
Oh yeah?
Well, first of all, he did a nice thing, which was well, one of them was a nice thing that he did. He put a
Mhm.
bench near his tombstone so people could sit down, and it said something like take a seat while you still can. And I think it was two things. It was a joke because he used to tell actors that you're standing all the time when you're on a shoot. So
Oh
sit down
yeah.
whenever you can. So it's just like
That's the
helpful advice. But the other thing is that I think it's a joke because he meant, when we die, we'll be laying down forever. So take a seat.
Yeah,
Oh, so
absolutely.
I just looked it up. So his tombstone, which is in Fort Lauderdale, his tombstone says "Let her rip," for real. So to me, I mean, we laugh and it's hilarious, but it's also an amazing gift and very thoughtful thing that when he was dying, or long before he died, honestly, he was probably
Mhm.
thinking, I want to leave people with laughter as my
Yeah,
legacy. Because
absolutely.
when friends come to a funeral, it's like a wedding. There's only so many times in our life when we see each other, and then
Yeah.
him breaking the ice and making it okay to laugh. It was his wish to, even after he died, or maybe especially, to connect his friends and family. And it's such
Mhm.
a nice, thing to do. But by the way, I
Yeah,
know a lot of people are afraid of death, or we don't like to think about it. But if we
right.
but if we think about it, and think and have a little bit of control over it,
Mhm.
and then have a fun idea like that, and honestly, we pray and that it's not going to come soon, um, that it
Right.
can make living better. We appreciate life better. We get more out of
Mhm.
it, because if you try to hide something you're afraid of, it comes out in not healthy ways.
Correct. Correct. See, he
Hmm.
makes me think of the TV show, the Betty White's Off Their Rockers.
Oh, Golden Girls.
Well, no, but after the Golden Girls, when Betty White did the show Off Their Rockers, you don't
Oh, I
remember
never
that?
saw this. Oh, I gotta
Oh
see
my
this. I didn't think
gosh.
about it. No way.
Man, because when you talked about Leslie Nielsen with the far thingy, the far what you call it, that's what it made
Yeah,
me think about
the fart
because
machine, yeah.
with yeah, you gotta watch it. I think it came out like I think he produced it in like 2009, and it's all these old people. She got all these old people going out and just doing crazy things
Really? No way.
just to make people laugh.
That
Yes,
is
hilarious,
great.
and it always came. I think it came on every Friday, and that's all of me and my ex girlfriend watch was Betty White's Off Their Rockers,
Wow.
just to watch just these old people just wait.
This is great. I gotta see that. Well, it sounds like that show kids say the darndest things, but then they're doing
Yes,
overdo and
it's
say.
it's yes, it's older people, and she is just sending old people out there just to do crazy
I gotta
things
see
just
it.
to make people laugh. And these people be looking at them crazy, but then some of them just be cracking up laughing because they're just doing crazy
Wow.
things. Yes, you gotta watch it because it's
I
hilarious.
gotta check this out.
Yes, you gotta check it out. Betty White's Off Their Rockers. She don't even do anything. She just stays in the background and she just drinks this big old. She has this big glass, the big wine glass, drinking wine.
No way.
That's how she
And
do
she
it.
went to 100 too, right?
Almost. She was 99. She was
Oh
gonna be
my God.
100 in a few
She,
weeks.
yeah, I mean, in the 80s growing up, I watched Golden Girls, and
I still do.
I mean, to see all these older women just hilarious. And
Yes.
if you pitch, somebody said that, like, oh, if you pitch that show today, like, oh, I'm gonna have a Miami home with women in their 60s, blah blah blah. And then, by the way, kids watch that show like crazy. Like
Yes.
still watch it. The writing is great.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I was in Fort, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. We have a lot of bachelorette
Yeah.
parties here. About a year ago,
Mhm.
I'm at dinner for my birthday, and this other table has all these girls in their 20s, and they're all wearing white wigs and pearls. So
Yes.
we talked to them, and it was an homage to the Golden Girls for the bachelorette party, which is hilarious and
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah. Like I love the Golden Girls. I still watch. I even got a T-shirt of the Golden
Really?
Girls celebrating 40 years. Yeah. I
Boy,
love the Golden Girls.
oh, that's awesome. You should go to a convention. They probably have them, right? For all
Shh.
the fans. Once
I
again,
don't.
all the fans probably get together.
Yeah. I mean,
Golden Con.
and so many people are tributing the Golden Girls because they don't understand how magnificent the Golden Girls was.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. The people are out here doing all kinds of things. You just said it. They doing all kinds of things, and
Yeah.
yep, they just started putting back on TV. I think back here, I think it was, oh Lord, I don't want to get it wrong. I think it was May. I
You
think it
know
was
that
May or
these
June.
free streamers are becoming popular with Gen Z and
Yeah.
older people too, like Gen X, my age,
Mhm.
because it's like the old days again. It's like some people just want
Yes.
a syndicated classic show. I mean, the
Yes.
shows were all the best of the best because it was like survival of the fittest because you had to have all these pilots compete every year to be the best. And
Hmm.
everybody who wrote for that show and all those actresses, they were established actresses that had all worked in drama too, right?
For
And then
sure.
they're doing this hilarious comedy. It was amazing. And
Yes.
it stands the test of time. I mean, Cheers too, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And I still watch Matlock, the 80s one, not the new one. I watched the
oh yeah.
80s
I
Matlock.
used to
Yeah.
love Chips. Did you ever watch that about the highway
I've
patrol
heard of them. I've watched a couple
in
episodes, but I don't.
California? And um Highway to Heaven,
Yep.
80s
But
were
Michael Landon, right? Ain't that about
yeah,
Michael Landon?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
Oh,
seen
what
a couple
about
episodes of
Quantum
them too.
Leap? Did you ever watch that?
No, I haven't even heard of him.
Oh, Quantum Leap's great because it's about this guy who goes through history and he has to something bad's going to happen and he has to change fix it. But the
Mhm.
best part is every episode opens up and he doesn't know who he is. He just
Mhm.
appears. So I
Huh.
remember one of them is the crowd's cheering and he's backstage and he looks down and he's wearing like a jumpsuit and some rhinestones.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's happening?" And then he looks in the mirror and he's Elvis. And then he has to go on stage and like perform as Elvis. But every episode be like he could be a woman, he could be a grandmother, he could be he could be anybody.
Yeah, I might have to check that out too, because I never heard of that.
Yeah, check
I
it
never
out.
heard of that.
It's great. It's
Yeah, I
great.
definitely got to check that out. All right. Before we get out of here, I got to ask you this last question. What does breaking mental health mean to you?
Breaking mental health to me, the first thing I think of is instead of avoiding topics that may be uncomfortable or avoiding
Yeah.
them, but going
Mhm.
straight at them and smashing it open and let's all look at this thing we didn't want to talk about. Let's get into it. Let's deconstruct it. Let's make fun of it. Let's roast it. We can make fun of if you have that negative voice in your head, you can make fun of it, and that's a proven
Sure.
therapy technique, really. I mean,
Hmm.
we take these thoughts so seriously, and um that's not good. I mean, these are not
There never is.
we didn't these thoughts don't come usually from us, and they don't come from a good.
Right.
So let's not take them seriously. Let's make fun of them, and they'll eventually go away. And
Yep.
that's breaking
That's-
mental health to me is everything's on the table and let's explore it.
Yeah. I think it can always be a good thing to talk about in ways, like you said, it could be uncomfortable, but, sometimes, bringing up stuff that's uncomfortable can make it good too. If you can make it good, you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, if you
Mhm.
the irony, right, is if you don't talk about it and you wait, then it's going to be really uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. All right, man. I appreciate your time, man. Justin Cram coming on. we had a good ass conversation. So,
Thanks, Darrell. Appreciate
man,
it.
I appreciate you coming
I'm
on,
glad
man.
we connected. All the best to you. Have a good day. God bless.
Yeah, you too, brother.
Bye bye.
Bye bye now.